The camera's buffering right now, so I will send another invitation.
Thank you.
Camera's live.
Welcome everyone to the Electoral Area Services Committee meeting for May 5th, 2021. We have, don't think we have any alternate directors. I'd like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of the Koksilah peoples. And with that, we will have an approval of the agenda. We were sent by Jennifer Hughes a supplemental for R1. I'm hoping everybody has received that. And we'll move to, with that, an approval of the agenda, please. Moved, second, all in favor? Opposed, if any? Motion's carried. Then moving on to number 2, the adoption of the minutes of April 21st, 2021. Moved, second, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion's carried. Is there any business arising from the minutes, Ms. Legault?
There is not.
Public input period. Do we have any contributions to public input?
We've not received any requests to participate today.
Thank you. Then we're moving on now to correspondence. C1, Ms. Legault.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item C1 is a grant and aid request, Electoral Area B. And the recommendation is that it be recommended to the board that a grant and aid Electoral Area B, Shawnigan Lake, in the amount of $1,000 be provided to Cowichan Secondary School for 2 bursaries for 2 graduating students that reside in Electoral Area B to support their further education or training.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Motion's carried. C2, please.
C2 is a grant and aid request, Electoral Area C, and the recommendation is that it be recommended to the board that a grant and aid Electoral Area C.
Your camera has, oh, everybody's freezing.
Looks fine on my end.
Good here as well. Laurie's disappeared.
Okay, so Chair, can you hear me okay?
Yes, everybody just went off my screen. Is that from my end?
I think it's your end.
Oh, I've never had that before. So where are we at? Did you, C2, did you read it out?
I'm not sure that I finished it, so I'll start it again. That'd be recommended
thank
to the board that a grant and aid Electoral Area C, Cobble Hill, in the amount of $750 be provided to Cowichan Secondary School for 3 bursaries for 3 graduating students that reside in Area C, Cobble Hill, to support their further education or training.
Been moved. Second, all in favor? Opposed, if any? Motion's carried. Go ahead, please. C3.
C3 is a grant and aid request from Electoral Area C again, and the recommendation is that it be recommended to the board that a grant and aid Electoral Area C, Cobble Hill, in the amount of $500 be provided to Young Seniors Action Group Society to support membership dues, help replenish fabric and knitting supplies, and update computer equipment.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Motion's carried. C4.
It's a grant and aid request, Electoral Area D, and the recommendation is that it be recommended to the board that a grant and aid Electoral Area D, Cowichan Bay, in the amount of $3,375 be provided to Cittislow Cowichan to support membership fees for their annual designation.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Motion is carried. Thank you so much. Moving on now to reports. R1, Ms. Legault.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am just going to bring the applicant in the meeting.
And I believe this will be Ms. Boyle presenting, if I'm correct.
That's correct, Madam Chair. I'll be running the PowerPoint presentation.
And the applicant is with us.
The applicant is Brant Weninger, and R1 is the report development services regarding ALR 20E03 for 4475 Koksilah Road.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Boyle.
Sorry, I'm just pulling up my
Yes.
There we go.
Okay, so this is an application ALR 20E03, an application to the Agricultural Land Commission, for 4475 Koksilah Road. So the property is located at 4475 Koksilah Road. It's approximately 7 hectares and it falls within the Koksilah watershed. Property is surrounded to the north, east, and south and west by other agricultural properties of varying sizes, and it's located close to Bright Angel Park. As you can see, I mean, maybe you can't really, but there's a watercourse located on the property and some inundated areas to the north of the property as well as some residential and farm buildings on the property. The applicant is proposing a 2-lot subdivision to provide a residence for an immediate family member, the owner's children, under the Section 514 of the Local Government Act. And the recommendation is that it be forwarded to the Agricultural Land Commission for review, or that it be recommended to the board that application number ALR 20E03 for 4475 Koksilah Road, PID 000622451 be forwarded to the Agricultural Land Commission. Thank you, Madam Chair. The applicant has also requested that he be allowed to speak to the application as well.
Absolutely. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. Are we able to hear us?
Yes. Yep, go ahead.
Thanks again. Just a little bit more background. We've lived on our property almost 23 years, and we raised our children, and they are now all adults. We have 3 children that are all over 20. Youngest is 23. So we sat down after living here 20 years, and we put forward a proposal to our family to say whether we're going to stay or not, and either move on or redevelop our farm and live together, creating a sustainable agricultural farm so we can raise future generations. So therefore, we put our application forward. We're not just wanting to subdivide for residents. We actually have significant, we've hired a Madrone consultant for to do a professional agrologist to do a land capability study. And I don't know if you have that in your packages right now. We did a study in 2013, and we did the study on the back part of our property, the property that we wish to subdivide off and create a title for our kids. We then updated that study just recently and submitted a May 4th report, an updated study. And that study has shown that we've lost more agricultural land due to swampy low-lying areas. If you have that report in front of you, you can go to page 3 of the report, and it shows the portion that we wish to subdivide off, and it has now considerably more swampy and low-lying areas. So this area is deemed poor agriculture, and our proposal would allow us to get mortgages for our children and to invest that into agricultural enhancement. Take advantage of these swampy low-lying areas, create water retention, deal with our drainage issues, and use that water to irrigate for summer irrigations. These sort of, this is a huge agricultural pursuit for us. We have decided that we're going to maintain and we wish to develop our farm in many different ways, more livestock. We want to add to our poultry, chickens, and waterfowl, and our fruit. And now that our new study has come forward, it has said these areas are not very capable for that. They are capable, though, for other types of crops which we plan. And again, these are all in support of the official community plan. We are in alignment. Our main goal is to enhance agriculture, remediate the loss of our agricultural land from the swampy and increasing low-lying areas. The BC Assessment Authority has assessed our property and added an additional negative 10% to the value of this property because it is increased in low-lying areas. That will show in our report from our Madrone consultants, and it also shows in that report under BC Assessment that again we've lost a substantial amount to agricultural, or to the swampy low-lying area. So again, we take this area in conclusion. We feel our application is fully in line with the OCP in various areas. We wish to enhance agriculture. We wish to remediate our drainage issues, create retention ponds for summer irrigation. We wish areas for our children to live so we can all live together and maintain a sustainable farm and raise our grandchildren. In addition, we will focus on these areas of poor agriculture, and we don't want to make a large impact with great big homes or residences of that. We want small, sweet, small impact on the environment. We want to be geothermal heating. We want to create hydroelectricity if possible, all sorts of different things for the next couple decades. So again, eco toilets and all kinds of sustainable agriculture to go along with it. So if you were to send this forward for recommendation approval, you would be not just allowing us to subdivide a piece of property, you'd be allowing us to create a farm where our kids can raise their kids and that we can all live together and continue agricultural enhancement. So we ask that the committee forward our application to the ALC with option number 2, a recommendation for approval. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any questions for staff or Ms. Boyle? Seeing none, are there any questions for the applicant? Seeing none, I turn to the Director Morrison.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Question through to staff. The applicant's requesting a recommendation different than the staff recommendation, and I've noted that on a number of our recent ALC referrals that we have been the staff have recommended the option of either refer without recommendation or deny. Can we have staff give some explanation as to the rationale for the recommendation they put forward, please?
Ms. Boyle?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the recommendation, option 1 is a neutral recommendation, recognizing the Agricultural Land Commission's authority on subdivision of land within the Agricultural Land Reserve. So it's the same recommendation as forwarding it to the Agricultural Land Commission without a recommendation, if that makes sense.
Okay, no follow-up. I turn to the Director of the area, Director Nicholson. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, and thank you, Weningers, for your application. I am very supportive of it going to the Agricultural Land Commission. I am a little bit torn on whether we should do option 1 or 2, primarily because the Koksilah itself, the watershed itself, is in such sort of tenuous circumstances right now, and I'm really not sure where the Agricultural Land Commission is, what they're thinking about in terms of that. I imagine they're just thinking about agricultural land in general. I don't really see the harm of option 2 at this point. So I think I would probably move that one.
Option 2 has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on option 2? Could I have option 2 read, please? Ms.
Thank you,
Legault?
Madam Chair, that it be recommended to the board that application number ALR 20E03-4475 Koksilah Road, PID 000622451 be forwarded to the Agricultural Land Commission with a recommendation for approval.
Okay, that is what we have now moved and seconded. I'm going to call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Motion is carried. So was that opposed, Director Morrison? One opposed. Thank you. And that will go to the next board, which is, if anybody has that date. Anyway,
May 12th.
thank you very much. Okay, moving on now to R2.
Thank you, Madam
Ms.
Chair.
Legault.
R2 is the report from Development Services Division on application EVP 21B01 for 190 Haybrook Road. And I've just brought the applicant into the meeting.
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Okay, so we have, I see we have Chase, and if this is Ms. Charles, or, oh, no, here we go. Okay, welcome.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. Okay, let's go ahead with the staff report. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just going to share my screen, but the presentation is going to be given by Planner Rashinda Woods.
Go ahead, Ms. Woods,
Thank you, Madam Chair.
and welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This application is for a variance permit on 1900 Haybrook Road in South Shawnigan Lake. The subject property is zoned R2. It is designated rural residential, and it is located on the southwest side of Shawnigan Lake. The property contains an existing accessory building, and the applicant is currently working with the CVRD Building Division to construct a single-family dwelling on the property as well. Surrounding properties are zoned R2, and most are generously treed. The applicant is proposing a variance to legalize the siting of an existing accessory building on the property, which requires a variance to the west exterior side parcel line from 4.5 meters to 0.17 meters. The parcel line abuts an unconstructed Ministry of Transportation 5-meter wide road dedication, which the ministry has indicated is unlikely to be constructed due to that narrow width. The ministry has provided the applicant with a letter stating that they do not object to the structure remaining at this time, and they have also confirmed to CVRD staff that a setback permit is not required. The neighbor closest to the structure at 1908 Haybrook Road has also provided a letter of support. The building complies with all other zoning regulations, and the building inspector has also confirmed that the building is up to code. So with that, we have the recommendation that development variance permit DVP 21B01 1900 Haybrook Road be issued. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. Do we have any questions for staff? Once the screen comes down, I have Director Acton. Go ahead, please.
Well, so I noticed, I don't know if it's me, but I noticed that there's no pictures of the structure. Like usually we have a better sense of what's going on by some pictures. Do you have any you could share with us?
Ms. Wood?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, Madam Chair. Yes, I do have some pictures of the structure. I can pull them up if you'd like and share my screen here. Sorry, just bear with me 1 second here while I get to the right application
No
in our
problem.
network structure.
Well, maybe you can answer another question. I was curious how this variance application came about.
Yes, of course, through you, Madam Chair. It was building inspector Sunny Brisky noted that it needed a variance when the applicant applied to construct a single-family dwelling.
Follow up, Director Acton?
Well, so there's no plans to change it?
No, there's not at this moment. They're only proposing to put basically siding around it so that it doesn't have so that it's protected.
I just felt like it was an odd situation. Thank you, Madam Chair. Sorry. Seemed like an odd situation that we would require a variance permit. So I just felt like maybe information was missing.
Through you, Madam Chair, no, the information that I received from Sunny was that, yes, it was basically just had gone unnoted for quite a while. And when the applicant was putting in their building permit for the single family dwelling that they're looking to construct, Mr. Brisky noted at that time we should legalize the structure. So if you would like, I'm happy to share these images here. So it has been wrapped in Tyvek again to protect it from the winter elements. So there's the laneway, basically the front parcel line would be over here. Can you see my mouse? Yeah, okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes.
So it would be over the front parcel lines over here, and actually behind this structure is where that laneway is, that unconstructed Ministry of Transportation laneway.
Sorry to interrupt. I got kicked out and then it brought me back in again. Can I just get put back in the waiting room?
Oh, you can, is this,
It's Davis
Mr. Mayo. Okay,
It times you out after a little while. I'm sure everybody in the waiting room got kicked out.
yes, thank you. Noted.
All right, so this is a better image of that front parcel line. My car here is on that front parcel line, so it is quite a distance from the front parcel line. And then the unconstructed lane is over here. And that's just looking, this is the unconstructed lane. If you look right behind where my mouse is here. And this is the unconstructed lane looking towards the front parcel line.
Thank you. Go ahead, Director Acton.
Thank you. So that area is all septic and smaller lots, and it's not zoned for any kind of carriage houses or anything like that. So, but I suspect you're allowed to have a garage. It's just that it's too close to the laneway. Is there any way that we can, it doesn't look like it's going to become a carriage house or anything like that, but is there anything that we should be looking at here to ensure that that doesn't happen in this case? Like, I'm not sure it's very common in that neighborhood to have two buildings.
Through you, Madam Chair, it is at this point, yes, just a garage. I suppose we could look at a covenant on it. Mr. Limshu, do you have any other tricks of the trade?
Certainly the parcel is dictated by what the zoning permits and through the zoning, it regulates setbacks, heights, coverage, and uses. So if the committee feels that perhaps the zoning's not addressing the issue, then having a covenant prohibiting a secondary dwelling on site is certainly an instrument one can pursue.
Go ahead, Director Acton.
Thank you. I just had one other question. I was a little confused by the letter of support by the owner to the applicant. So is the applicant the person, is the applicant just acting as an agent, or is the applicant building the structures, but they don't own the property?
Through
Ms.
you,
Woods?
Madam Chair, the applicant is the owner of the property as well. The letter of support came from the neighbor, just on the other side of that unconstructed laneway.
Okay, thank you, sorry.
Now, I believe the applicant is on. I see Chase, and would you like to add anything, Chase?
Yeah, the structure that is there is just a simple shop that is going to stay a shop, and it's basically I've finished a shop that was there previously, and that's all. I don't have much to add. You guys have basically covered all the bases on it.
Okay, thank you. I turn to the director of the area. Go ahead, Director Acton.
I'd like to move staff's recommendation, please.
Could you read, it's been moved and seconded. Ms. Legault, could you read the recommendation, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. That it be recommended to the board that development variance permit number DVP 21B01 for 1900 Haybrook Road, PID 030664721 be issued.
Thank you. So that's the resolution that we are about to vote on. I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Motion is carried. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chase.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Moving on now to R3, Ms. Legault.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I brought the applicant into the meeting, and item R3 is a report from Development Services on application CLR 20C01 for 3541 Cobble Hill Road.
Thank you. Welcome, Clay. And is this Ms. Cherolf or is it Mr. Limshew? Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Bear with me. I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, the purpose of application number CLR 20C01, located at 3451 Cobble Hill Road, is to present an application to permit a cannabis retail store on the subject lands. The committee will recall that on April 14th of 2021, CVRD board adopted a bylaw to allow for this specific use on the subject lands. Since the adoption of the bylaw, staff have received a referral from the BC Liquor and Cannabis Regulation Branch, confirming that there is an application for non-medical cannabis retail store on the subject property. As part of the LCRB's review, the branch determines if the applicant is fit and proper to receive the license in accordance with Section 23(1) of the Cannabis Act. The BC Liquor and Cannabis Regulation Branch, sorry, I'm just so used to just the liquor branch, does require that the local government submit a positive recommendation to the branch in support of the issuance of the license. And this is a condition prior to the applicant being able to receive his license to move forward with the retail store. So with that, I'll open it to questions.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions for staff or the applicant? Seeing none, I turn to the director of the area, Director Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I'd like to move option 1, the staff recommendation for approval.
Been moved and seconded. I see no other questions. Could I have option 1 read, please? Ms. Legault, thank you.
Madam Chair, that it be recommended to the board that cannabis retail license application number CRL 20C01 for 3541 Cobble Hill Road, PID 017996783 be forwarded to the Liquor and Cannabis Regulation Branch with a recommendation of approval.
Thank you. I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Motion is carried. That will go to the May 12th board. Thank you very much. And we move on now to R4. Ms. Legault.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've just brought the applicant into the meeting, and item R4 is a report from Development Services on application number 01F17RS for 6001 Paldy Road.
Will that be Mr. Limshu? Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just going to share my screen. The purpose of this report is to present an application to amend the Cowichan Lake South Scotts Falls zoning bylaw number 2600 to rezone the property at 6001 Poldy Road to facilitate a two-lot subdivision. So the applicant is requesting to rezone the property from F1 to F2A. Just to provide a bit of context, as you can see on the slide before you, this is the subject property in question, lot 10. Across the street on Poldy Road, there's also a property that's also received the F2A zone. And this area, just to the, I'll call it the north or the top of the screen, that's identified under the CD1 zone. This is the comprehensive development for the Poldy area. That particular development entails future development of up to 500 units. And the reason I highlight this is just while the area is designated forestry, I just wanted to point out the fact that when you look at the surrounding land uses, there's a number of activities that have occurred over the years that aren't necessarily forestry related. So with that, so the applicant has proposed rezoning on the property to facilitate the subdivision of the land into two lots for family reasons. The northern lot will be approximately 3.5 hectares, the southern lot 5.23 hectares. There's a conceptual subdivision plan that's been attached to the report and is on the screen. The applicant in his rationales indicated that it is for a family member. The property is approximately 9.1 hectares or 22 acres. So certainly, should the zoning be approved, there is adequate land to facilitate the subdivision moving forward. The application has been before both APCs for Area F and Area E. And I guess the only thing I'd like to add is that as a condition of supporting the rezoning application, staff is recommending a covenant be placed on title to limit the subdivision to just one lot, as per the request of the applicant, and also to limit the maximum lot coverage to 10%. And this is consistent with the recommendations put forward by Area E, APC. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Thank you. Mr. Mayo, do you have anything to add? Your microphone, please. Then I'll turn to Director Morrison.
Hi, sorry, I just unmuted myself. No, I don't have anything to add outside of the fact that it's my parents' property and they want to subdivide a chunk off and leave myself with a chunk and my brother with a chunk as they're getting up in their years. So that's the idea behind this. Is my brother would move into their house and then my wife and I would build a house.
Okay, thank you so much. I turn to Director Morrison. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Perhaps Mr. Limshu will be getting tired of me asking this question, but can you tell me what the original date of application was on this file?
The application for the rezoning was submitted back in 2017.
Okay, thank you. So I think the staff report has been fairly well written and explains why some of the stipulations in some of the APC recommendations weren't requirements in the staff report. I am kind of embarrassed at the length of time that it's taken to complete a two-lot rezoning and subdivision, and this is, I know that we deal with land use and not individuals, but this is a historic family from the area, and I'm hoping that we can accommodate this fairly simple request and keep the family residing in the area and active and important members of our community. And I would ask my colleagues to support this. After everyone's spoken and asked questions, I will be moving the staff recommendation.
Thank you. And I have Director Nicholson. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. I appreciate the staff report, but my question relates to one of the area EAPC recommendations, which has to do with the border, the trail, whatever we call the trail, the Cowichan Valley Trail or the Trans-Canada Trail, borders the property, but I understand that there's a road right-of-way right next to it, and then it drops down to a stream. Is that correct?
Mr. Limshu?
That's correct. There is Curry Creek that runs between the subject property and the trail that Director Nicholson is speaking to. The creek, actually, majority of it is within the road right of way.
So I think the area EAPC was concerned that there be no, that we maintain that view corridor along the trail as much as possible. And where I understand, I guess with the road right away, I don't know what, that's an MOTI thing, I imagine. But I think it's really important for the area EAPC that there were no trees cut down between that and the stream, the Curry Creek. So why did you recommend not requiring some sort of conservation along there?
Mr. Limshu?
So as far as the, you raised a number of different points there, but as far as the view corridor along the trail, this property is not adjacent to the trail. As I indicated, there is a road right of way between the trail and the subject property. As far as the question around the conservation covenant, if the zoning is approved, the property owner will have to come back in for subdivision. And through those processes, we'll be taking a closer look at the relationship of the creek and its location in relation to the proposed subdivision and ultimately the proposed development. So the applicant would be subject to the requirements of the subdivision as well as potentially development permit. And at that point in time, we can better determine how best to ensure protection of that creek.
So
Follow up, Director Nicholson?
So just to follow up to make sure I'm clear. So I understand the issue. So you're thinking that the riparian regulations will be adequate to ensure that the big trees on that area are not cut down?
That's correct. As it pertains to the applicant's property, what happens within the road right of way, which is controlled by the Ministry of Transportation, I cannot speak to at this point in time because it is under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Transportation. But as far as the location of that creek in relation to this property, we can certainly regulate that through both the subdivision and development permit processes.
Right. So I understand that we
follow up, Director Nicholson?
Yeah, I understand we can't deal with the road right-of-way issue, but we should be doing as much as we can to protect Curry Creek and potentially the view corridor along that area.
I turn now to the director of the area. It's been moved, and I believe Director Kuhn has seconded it. And earlier you had seconded, Director Kuhn? Okay, just confirming. Call the question. Well, actually, could I have it read, please? Ms. Legault? And there's
Sure. Thank you. That it be recommended to the board, one, that zoning amendment bylaw for application number 01F-17RS for 6001 Paldy Road, PID 09411089, be forwarded to the board for consideration of first and second reading. Two, that prior to consideration of adoption of the zoning amendment bylaw for application number 01F-17RS for 6001 Paldy Road, a restrictive covenant be prepared and registered on title to address limiting the subdivision to the creation of only one new lot and limiting the maximum lot coverage to 10%. Three, that a public hearing be scheduled for application number 01-F-17RS with directors from electoral areas D, E, F as delegates. And four, that the referrals for application 01F-17RS to BC Transit, School District 79, Satlam Fire Rescue, Island Health, Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure, and First Nations be accepted.
Thank you very much. That's been moved and seconded. I call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Motion's carried. That will go to the May 12th board. Director Morrison, go ahead, please.
Just through you to Mr. Limshu, and he may not be aware of this because he hasn't been around as long as we've had this file, but could I perhaps ask him a clarification question? Because it's been my understanding in regards to this overlap area that when a file is consistent with the official community plan, which this is a rezoning from a forestry designation to a forestry designation, that the referral to the APC is generally to the area in which it resides. Now, that's the way it's been done in the past. I'm just curious, were you instrumental or part of the referral of this to the neighboring APC in regards to this? Because practice has been in the past that as long as the OCP spirit of the OCP was met, then any rezoning just went to the APC in which it resides. Has something changed that I'm not aware of?
Mr. Limshu.
Through you, Madam Chair, I wasn't fully aware of the past practice. I just felt that given the fact that these lands are subject to both the area EOCP and the area F zoning, as a matter of courtesy, I've referred it applications to both to both APCs to get feedback and comment.
Director Morrison, go ahead, please.
Could we get clarification on that policy, please, at some point in the future?
Okay, and Director Nicholson?
We greatly appreciated the opportunity to have a look at this application.
Okay, we're moving on now. We have voted on that, correct? Okay. Oh, go ahead, Ms. Cheryl.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just further to Director Morrison's point about policy on referrals, there is no formal policy on referrals. There may be past practice, but it would be advisable and beneficial to have a written policy. If you're asking staff to come back with a report on the topic of policy or to draft a policy, then a resolution would be appreciated.
Thank you, Ms. Cheryl, for clarifying that for us. Okay, I'm going to be turning now to thank you, Mr. Mayo.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. And we're looking for, I just said bye. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye. R5, it is a director's report from Director Acton. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just looking for the committee's support to request a staff report on an item of for an amendment of our zoning bylaw that allows aqua farming in lakes in area B. It was advised by staff that I request a
staff report on that. Okay, so your recommendation Ms. Legault, read the recommendation, and then I don't see any questions. Whoa, okay, just a second. There are a whole bunch of questions. I didn't ask that question, did I? Okay, I will start with Director Salmon, and then Director Smith, and then Director Nicholson. Go ahead, Director Salmon.
Thank you. So thank you, Director Acton. I appreciate this being brought forward. So I did a bit of research. And one thing I noticed on the water zones for Area B that aquaculture is permitted also in W1 as well as W2, like your staff report or your director's report mentioned. And then I compared with the zoning bylaw 3520, which is for areas A and C. As I see, we do not allow aquaculture in any of the water zones there. So for consistency, it would seem to agree with what you're asking for. But as a question for staff, I just wondered, because this comes up periodically, but the intention when we had the South Couch and OCP was to have one zoning bylaw for all three, A, B, and C. But for a reason, I think it was illegal with SIA years ago, we didn't do that. And it seems to keep coming up. So does it make sense to look at moving Area B into the modern zoning bylaw that A and C have?
Mr. Tippett, welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and hello to the committee. And thank you for that question. It's a good question. You are correct. The reason that Area B still has the old bylaw 985 was due to the SIA legal case that we were fighting some years ago, and our legal advice at that time was don't make Area B part of bylaw 3520 until the court case is resolved. And by the time the court case did resolve, we were embarking on the harmonized OCP and zoning process. So we, at that time, no decision was taken to proceed. At one time, I actually did have a version of an amendment bylaw to actually integrate Area B into bylaw 3520, which is the Area A and C zoning bylaw, but it would be quite out of date now. So we'd have to do a fair bit of work there. I think the point is well taken, though, that if we had not been fighting the SIA case, this bylaw would likely not have existed, and this problem today would not exist. And so I guess the committee needs to consider whether this is an urgent issue that requires an interim amendment. As far as an interim amendment, we're doing a couple of those right now on other matters, and I could personally do it myself. In my opinion, it wouldn't interfere with the timing of any of our bigger projects should the committee decide to make this a priority and have us do it, especially if we were to report back and recommend public notice instead of a hearing, because it's a relatively minor amendment. I'm not actually aware of anybody proposing aquaculture in Shawnigan or any other water body right now, but it's correct that it is a permitted use. And so I hope that answered that question, or if I missed something, please follow up and I'll follow up too.
Director Salmon, there's a follow-up.
Yeah, thank you. So that partially gets it. I'm just curious, as I said, we seem to have this come up fairly often. For example, the Briarwood subdivision we did a little while ago with the additional parkland thing and the accessory dwelling, which we amended, and yet I guess it's not going to be amended in Area B's zoning. So I'm just wondering how much is it too much work to go ahead and incorporate Area B into the modern zoning bylaw?
Mr. Tippett, but I do see Ms. Breen on the screen as well. Go ahead.
Okay, well, yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, as I said, when the SIA case was kind of roaring along, I did maintain an interim amendment bylaw that would have introduced Area B into the South Couch and zoning. The problem is that over time, a number of other amendments have occurred to the Area B bylaw, and I guess if I'm trying to remember the date that I was doing that, it was probably around 2013, 2014. Thereabouts. That it was the last time it was updated, so it'd be a considerable amount of work, I think, to go comb through it and make sure that all the other updates are done. So yeah, it's a bit of a dilemma. I mean, I think you're onto the right track, in recommending that, you know, if it was possible to try and do it all at the same time and sort of get rid, because there may be other, you know, sleeping bears, so to speak, that might get poked in the eye with a stick. So, however, as I said, if this is a one-off proposal that the committee wishes to do, I don't think it would affect our work program overall. I could probably do it fairly quickly, but we would follow that up with a report as the director's asking for.
Ms. Breen?
Good afternoon through the chair. Just nothing further to add other than this was highlighted through referrals to the Area B APC. Staff recommended that it be advanced prior to the modernization of the zoning bylaw because of the nature of the use, and that the zoning bylaw could be 2 or 3 years away from adoption. Thank you.
And I have directors Nicholson, no, Smith, Nicholson, and Wilson. Director Smith, go ahead, please.
Thank you. Through the chair to staff, I appreciate Director Acton bringing this forward. And I was just wondering if is the aquaculture zoning in other areas that should also be taken into consideration at the same time as this amendment is being made for Area B? Should all the areas be considered if there's any little tweaking that needs to be done at this time? Thank you.
Or Tippett? Is that
Thank
for
you, Madam
you?
Chair. I'll take it happily. Thank you. Director Smith, yeah, that's a good question. I think in the event that the committee decides to support the director's request here and ask for a report in the course of writing that report, we could spot check the other zoning bylaws. However, I would be surprised if most of them or any others actually permit aquaculture in lakes. The Area B zoning bylaw is unique in the sense that it's the oldest one by far in the region. It's from 1986, I believe. But yes, we could have a look, and if we did bring any or see any, we would bring this to the attention of the committee and you know, probably could correct all of those at the same time.
Thank you. I turn to, is there a follow-up, Director Smith? I just didn't. Thank you. I turn to Director Nicholson. Go ahead, please.
My question's been answered. Thank you.
Thank you. Turn to Director Wilson. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, same here, Madam Chair. Thank you very much.
Okay, so now I will have Ms. Legault read the recommendation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That it be recommended to the board that staff report on a potential amendment to Electoral Area B zoning bylaw number 985 to prohibit aquaculture.
It's been moved by Director Acton, seconded by Director Smith. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Motion is carried. Thank you so much. And we move down to question period. Has there been any questions?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Did you want to take the recess for 10 minutes?
Oh, yes. I totally forgot about that. Yes, we'll have our 10-minute recess. Thank you. We'll be back right after that. Thank you.
Video is live.
Ms. Legault, do we have any questions?
We did not receive any requests to participate.
Thank you very much. And with that, I have a motion to adjourn. Moved and seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you very much, everyone. That was a very efficient meeting. Thank you.
Short
Bye-bye.
and sweet.
Yeah.
Stay dry, stay safe.
Okay.
Thank you,
See ya.
Lori.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, staff.
Bye-bye.
Bye.